On January 23, 1897, in the mountains of West Virginia, a young woman named Zona Shue was found dead at the bottom of her stairs. The doctor called it natural causes. Her husband crouched and buried her quickly. Case closed. But 1 month later, something impossible happened. Zona came back from the grave, not as a legend, not as a story, but as a witness in a murder trial. And her testimony would make history as the only time in American legal history that ghost evidence helped convict a killer. This is the story of the Greenbrier Ghost, and every single word of it is true. It all started in October of 1896. 23-year-old Zona Heaster lived in Greenbrier County, West Virginia. Life in the mountains was simple. Hard work, small communities. Everyone knew everyone. Then a stranger rolled into town. His name was Erasmus Stribling Trout Shue, but everyone called him Trout. He was tall, muscular, handsome, dark hair, blue eyes. He worked as a blacksmith at a James Cruikshank's shop in Livesey's Mill. Zona met him and fell hard, fast. Her mother, Mary Jane Heaster, hated him instantly. She told Zona there was something wrong with this man, something hidden behind those blue eyes. But Zona did not listen. Love was blind. On October 20th, 1896, they married at the Methodist Church. The courtship lasted only weeks. Mary Jane could not shake the bad feeling. She prayed her daughter would be safe, but her prayers would not be answered. 3 months passed, January 23rd, 1897. It was a cold Saturday morning. Trout went to the home of a local woman named Martha Jones. He asked if her son, Anderson Jones, could run to his house. The boy was 11 years old. Trout wanted Anderson to check on Zona, see if she needed anything from the store. Trout came back 4 times that morning, each time more impatient. Finally, Anderson agreed to go. He walked to the Shue home around 11 in the morning. The house was silent. The door was closed. Anderson opened it and walked inside. What he found would haunt him forever. Zona was lying at the bottom of the stairs, perfectly still. Her feet were together. One hand rested on her stomach. The other lay beside her. Her head was tilted to one side. She was dead. Anderson ran to get help. By the time Dr. George Knapp arrived an hour later, Trout was already home. He had moved Zona's body to their bed. He had dressed her in a high-necked dress. When the doctor tried to examine her, Trout cradled her head. Sobbing, weeping, he would not let go. When Dr. Knapp tried to check her neck, Trout became violent. The doctor stopped out of respect for the grieving husband. He wrote down everlasting faint as the cause of death. Heart failure. Natural causes. Zona was buried the next day on January 24th, 1897, at Soul Chapel Methodist Cemetery. At the funeral, people noticed strange things. Trout stayed by the casket, always near her head. He tied a large scarf around Zona's neck. It did not match her burial dress. He said it was her favorite. He propped pillows and blankets around her head. To help her rest easier, he said. When people tried to look closely, he became agitated. Zona's mother, Mary Jane, watched all of this. Her bad feeling grew stronger. She knew something was wrong. She just could not prove it. So she did what any mother in 1897 West Virginia would do. She prayed. Every single night for 4 weeks, she asked God to reveal the truth. Then it happened. Mary Jane later testified in court about what came next. She said it was not a dream. First, a light appeared in her room. Then the light took shape. The room turned cold. And there, standing at the foot of her bed, was Zona. Her daughter had returned. For 4 nights in a row, Zona's ghost visited her mother. And each night she told the same horrifying story. She said Trout came home from work in a rage. She had not cooked meat for dinner. He flew into a fury. He grabbed her neck with his powerful blacksmith hands. He squeezed and squeezed until her windpipe crushed. Then he snapped her neck at the first joint. Zona told her mother exactly how she died. And she said one more thing. Tell on him. Make sure he pays for what he did. Mary Jane knew what she had to do. She went to the county prosecutor, John Alfred Preston. She sat in his office for hours, and she told him everything. The ghost, the visits, the murder. Now you might think Preston laughed her out of his office, but he did not. Whether he believed in ghosts or not, he believed something was wrong. Other people in the community had started asking questions too. Rumors spread fast in small towns. Preston went to speak with Dr. Knapp. The doctor admitted something crucial. He had not done a complete examination. Trout had been too aggressive, too protective of the body. Preston dug deeper, and what he found was chilling. Trout Shue had been married twice before. His first wife divorced him. She claimed he was cruel. His second wife died under mysterious circumstances. One story said she fell and hit her head. Another said Trout dropped a brick on her from a roof. Either way, she was dead. And now Trout's third wife was dead too. Preston had enough. He ordered Zona's body exhumed. Trout protested loudly. He complained to anyone who would listen. But on February 22nd, 1897, they dug up Zona's grave. The autopsy took place in the Nichols schoolhouse. 3 doctors examined her body for 3 hours. What they found was undeniable. Zona's neck was broken. Her windpipe was crushed. There were bruises consistent with finger marks on her throat. Her first and second cervical vertebrae were fractured. This was not natural causes. This was murder by strangulation, exactly as the ghost had said. Trout Shue was arrested and thrown in jail in Lewisburg. While waiting for trial, he showed no grief. In fact, he bragged. He told reporters he wanted 7 wives in his lifetime. Zona had only been his third. He was young. He had time for 4 more. He said they would never prove he did it. The trial began on June 22, 1897, at the Greenbrier County Courthouse. The building still stands today. The prosecution presented the medical evidence. The broken neck, the crushed windpipe, the bruises. But the moment everyone waited for came when Mary Jane Heaster took the stand. The prosecutor, Preston, was careful. He asked her about the facts of the case, about noticing the strange scarf, about Trout's behavior at the funeral. He avoided the ghost story. He wanted her to seem reliable, sane. But then the defense made a fatal mistake. Trout's lawyer wanted to discredit Mary Jane, so he brought up the ghost visits. He tried to make her look crazy. He badgered at her, questioned her sanity, asked her again and again about the apparitions. But Mary Jane never wavered. She sat calmly in that courtroom, and she told the truth. She described the cold room, the light taking shape, her daughter's ghost appearing 4 nights in a row. She repeated Zona's words about the crushed windpipe, about the broken neck at the first joint, about the rage over dinner. The defense could not break her. And here is the thing. The jury believed her. The whole community believed her. The defense had introduced the ghost testimony themselves, so the judge could not tell the jury to ignore it. On July 11, 1897, after only 1 hour and 10 minutes of deliberation, the jury returned. Guilty of murder. Trout Shue was sentenced to life in prison. 10 of the 12 jurors voted to hang him, but they needed a unanimous verdict for the death penalty, so he got life instead. On July 13, 1897, Trout was sent to the West Virginia State Penitentiary in Moundsville, but the people of Greenbrier County were not satisfied. On July 11th, the same day as the verdict, an armed mob formed. They wanted to lynch Trout. They wanted him to hang. Sheriff Nichols got wind of the plan. He hid Trout in the woods before the mob reached the jail. Then he confronted them. He convinced them to go home. 4 men were later charged with attempted lynching. Trout served 3 years in prison. On March 13, 1900, he died. An epidemic swept through the prison that spring. Many inmates died. Trout was one of them. He was buried in an unmarked grave at Tom's Run Cemetery. No records were kept. Today, no one knows exactly where his body lies. Mary Jane Heaster lived another 16 years. She died in September of 1916. And for all those years, she never once changed her story. She saw her daughter's ghost. Zona told her the truth, and that truth put a murderer behind bars. As for Zona, her ghost was never seen again after the trial. She had done what she came back to do. She told on him. She got justice, and then she rested. Today, if you drive along Route 60 near Sam Black Church, West Virginia, you will see a state historical marker. It reads, "Interred in nearby cemetery is Zona Heaster Shue. Her death in 1897 was presumed natural until her spirit appeared to her mother to describe how she was killed by her husband Edward. Autopsy on the exhumed body verified the apparition's account. Edward, found guilty of murder, was sentenced to the state prison. only known case in which testimony from a ghost helped convict a murderer. The Greenbrier Ghost case is unique in American legal history. No other trial has ever given credence to spectral evidence in this way. Not before, not since. Skeptics argue that Mary Jane made up the ghost story to force an investigation, that she knew her son-in-law was dangerous, that she used superstition to get people's attention. Maybe she did, but here is what we know for certain. Mary Jane told the prosecutor about the crushed windpipe and broken neck before the autopsy. She described the exact injuries, the exact location of the break. She could not have known those details without seeing the body, and she never saw the body after burial. The doctors confirmed her description was accurate, down to the specific vertebrae that were fractured. Was it really a ghost, or was it a mother's intuition so strong it felt supernatural? We will never know for sure, but the fact remains, Zona's voice was heard from beyond the grave, and a killer was brought to justice.